Hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of our shooting program, and welcome to today's show. I'm joined here by my puppy, and he seems to be wanting to get in on the action here, don't you, fella? Okay. Anyway, we're certainly glad to have you. This is our 6th year on the air for the shooting show, and we're so pleased with the progress that our gospel program is making. I realize that our gospel show and our shooting show switched channels on the satellite. Our shooting show is now on Telstar 401 Channel 3, as those of you know who are watching. The gospel show is on Telstar 401 Channel 18. So we would like to remind you the gospel show does come on from 10 to 10:30 Eastern Time on the satellite. Also on our American Freedom Radio show, our Thinking Right program with yours truly. Certainly we have the judge on there. And of course a number of interesting guests. We'd like to invite you to listen to that. It's on 9.475 shortwave worldwide on Sundays from 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern Time. So that'll translate back to whatever time zone you're in there. And the American Freedom Network can also be received on Galaxy 6, Channel 14, 5.8 audio, and they have an absolutely wonderful programming lineup. They have some very fine hosts of programming. It's just excellent, so we certainly want to support them. Well, friends, I tell you what, this election coming up, and we'll be talking about that more later on in the show, but it's probably, this is one of the strangest times we've ever been in this country's history. Things were very, very unstable around the time of the Civil War between the states. But now we actually have a government in Washington, D.C. that unfortunately acts in many cases against not just the South, not just the West, not just the North or Northeast or whatever region you're in, but against the conservative element in this country nationwide. From Maine to Hawaii, we have people in Washington, D.C. that literally want to change our country. They want to change our society. They want to make it a socialist paradise. Now wait a minute, friends, that's already been tried. And what we've done here has worked in this United States. We're not a democracy, we're a democratic republic. There is a huge difference. It has worked awfully well for these 200 years that we've been, or a little longer, we've been in existence as a nation. And isn't that what it's all about? Isn't that what man constantly strives for, is to be free? Well, yes, it is. From the very beginning, that's what people wanted to be, was to be free and make their own decisions and direct their own lives. But now we have people that literally want to direct every movement in our lives. And you know what is standing in their way? This right here. This right here. The firearms that are in the hands of the civilian population. This is what is standing in the way of the New World Order, their one world government, because, you know, we can actually resist. If a police force comes to your home with, like some of these police agencies have done for the federal government, and we're talking about ATF, FBI, they know that as long as they're armed citizens, they have to use some finesse in dealing with whatever has to be done. Now, they can come up there and ask you polite for if you have a disagreement with them in some way. There's a way to do it. But the police are just people too. There are some good ones and some bad ones. And unfortunately, it's not the good ones we have to worry about. It's not the good politicians we have to worry about. But there's a surplus of bad ones. And 1 or 2 bad ones is a surplus. That's more than we need. And this literally stands in the way of us being under a totalitarian, as in total government control, a totalitarian government, and being a free people. Right here. This shotgun, a rifle, our handguns, our guns in the civilian population. The Second Amendment has nothing at all whatsoever to do with hunting. Although you hunters out there, you better understand that your guns will go too. The duck hunters won't have shotguns, there won't be any 22 rifles, because if the Bradyites, the Clintonians, if they succeed with what their goal is, and the United Nations, see, they've already started at the UN, started a study on how to disarm the populations of civilian populations of countries worldwide. See, this is already underway, friends. This is not sometime in the future. It's here. It's happening now. And if we as conservatives, as right-thinking, as decent Americans who love our freedom and love our families and love this country, if we want to continue with these things, we have got to stand up now. You've got to take a look at your representative or your senator who's going in. I honestly don't know. This presidential thing is the most disgusting thing I've seen in a while. Like we said earlier, please consider, Dole will not be as bad as Clinton. We know what the Clintonians do. There's talk now that I've heard from some contacts in Washington that Hillary's going to be indicted, and this is a rumor, going to be indicted right after the election. She may take Slick down with her, and who you got as president? Mr. Ozone Hole himself, none other than Al Gore. Please, friends, I'm trying to appeal to you out there, and if you're already convinced, well, talk to your neighbors, talk to people down the block, talk to people in your church, say, look, Dole is no, he would not be our first choice, but in this particular election, he is our only choice. There are some other decent people running, but they just won't be able to get the numbers together to beat the establishment. So please consider it. If you have to hold your nose, whatever you have to do, but give old Dole a shot. Okay, well, on to more. Let's have a little fun here. My goodness, all this talk about, the problem is our talk about these things that are happening. It has to go on. It's got to be done. We have to talk about these things, but we can have a little fun along the way too. Let's open another shooting show. Now, friends, we have discovered some original Shootin' Show t-shirts. And of course now we're the Shooting Show, but these shirts are the original pattern for the Shootin' Show. If you'd like to have one, just like I wear on the program, they're all in extra large, but they're very nice shirts. Only $19.95 plus $3 shipping and handling. An original Shootin' Show Gun TV t-shirt. Call Bobby 1-800-728-8486. And if you'd like to have one of our original Shootin' Show t-shirts. Well, friends, we're going to show you some neat stuff on the program today. I think we have an interesting show for you as you're watching this. Hopefully we'll be headed back from Las Vegas and the Soldier of Fortune convention out there, and we're certainly looking forward to doing that as I'm taping this a few days earlier. But let me show you something. On last week's program, we showed you some specialty ammunition from Corbin. And yeah, my dog, you can't see him, he's down here helping me a little bit. Now look, I don't need any help on this. Thank you very much. Okay. Anyway, we have some more specialty ammunition we want to show you. A lot of people, certainly, the hunting season's coming up in the fall. We're going to look at some other stuff in a second about hunting, but let's cover this briefly right now. This is your Smith & Wesson 357 Magnum, as good a 357 Magnum as far as I'm concerned as money can buy. There are other guns out there like the Casull, which cost about 3 times or so as much as this gun, that may be slightly more accurate, but for all around use, your Smith & Wesson 357 Magnum really is about as good as it gets. There are also some other good 357s, but this is one we have here today. And I'm really impressed with this gun. This is one of the 7-shooters that we have, and it has really showed remarkable performance. That 7-shot cylinder is really a good idea. So anyway, the point of what I'm saying is, a lot of us will be doing some hunting this fall coming up. Some of us will be using handguns. Now some of you, maybe the only handgun you've got is a 357, or maybe for one reason or another you want to use a 357. Maybe a 44 Magnum, maybe some of the ladies out there, maybe a 44 Magnum is just too much for you, and you want to hunt, say, deer-sized game with a 357 Magnum. Well, it can be done, but the problem is, for deer or on hogs, especially where you need penetration, a jacketed hollow point bullet is not your ideal hog cartridge, simply because on the wild boar you have a gristle plate over their shoulders, and they'll stop a pretty good handgun bullet. That gristle plate is as tough as it can be, and we had butchered a wild hog we shot here on the farm here some time ago, and it was about a 200-pound or so hog, and its gristle plate was about 1.5 inches thick. And I tell you what, that is an impressive piece of equipment that they have, but you certainly would not want to shoot an animal like that. Another thing too, if you're on the ground and you have difficulties with a wild boar in the woods, you could have a real problem, because one, they can hurt you, they can knock you down, and then they can work on you when they get you down. So this is not an animal to play with, a wild boar, certainly not. My own feeling is a 357 is a little light for that sort of thing, but there are people out there that are going to use that for hunting. Well, Corbon has a new penetrator load, and you look there in your picture, you can see I'm holding a jacketed hollow point there on one side, and the penetrator is a solid 200 grain fully jacketed bullet there you're looking at, and it would have dramatically more penetration, which you would need on a game animal like a hog in order to reach into a vital spot to put him down. Now, this particular 200 grain bullet is running about 1,000 feet per second out of this 6-inch Smith & Wesson, which this is going to be a very common type gun that would be seen out there that we might want to hunt with. And this is really a good idea, because in a game animal, you may not want the bullet to expand and stop. As far as a self-defense cartridge, a police type cartridge, yes, expansion is very desirable, because you don't want it to over-penetrate. You don't want this jacketed hollow point to go through wall after wall after wall and injure somebody else. And you certainly want it to expend its energy within the target. And they also have more shocking power. When that hollow point starts to expand, it will give more dramatic shocking power than a solid penetrating bullet. You know, friends, all of us as shooting enthusiasts should be subscribing to Shotgun News, the trading post for anything that shoots. 3 big issues monthly with literally thousands and thousands of firearms bargains. Give them a call, 1-800-345-6923, a very inexpensive subscription price. Again, 1-800-345-6923. Subscribe today. You know, friends, it's rare in any field of manufacture that one particular company has a clear-cut advantage over the others. Well, in this case, it's Corbon Ammunition, Corbon Bullet Company, because they make the best handgun, long gun, and even some specialty caliber ammunition that's been real hard to get in the past. If you really want your handgun or rifle to perform at their absolute best, you need to find some Corbon ammunition. For information on where you can get Corbon, information on their product line, call them. Corbon Bullet Company, 1-800-626-7266. Again, give them a call. It's a free call, 1-800-626-7266. Trust me on this one. Corbon is the best there is. The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station. I saw something the other day that came from the Center for Disease Control, or the Journal of the American Medical Association, and this particular article was talking about how destructive the full metal jacket bullets were. Well, friends, that's about as ignorant as the old boy who designed the full metal jacket bullet had in mind when he did so that if a soldier on a battlefield had to be shot, it would not terribly or nearly as likely maim or give instantaneous death. Now, the battlefield reason for this was that, wait a minute, if you just wound a man and put him out of action, that wounded soldier is going to tie up a hospital bed, doctors, nurses, transfusions, surgeons, all kinds of things, medical personnel, transportation personnel and all, rather than if that soldier was permanently put out of out of life. So in that regard, a lot of the military types feel like the full metal jacket. And of course, there's a Geneva Convention where you can only use a full metal jacket bullet in warfare, and that's what everybody agreed on. In the 223, you have velocity, but still, even with the 223, on right away from up close and personal, if it doesn't hit a bone or something, a 223 will just drill a little hole with a full metal jacket bullet, and someone will be wounded rather than killed. So that's the reason. Heck, the full metal jacket bullet is not going to be as harmful to an enemy soldier. Now, in a self-defense situation, this is another whole ball game. You want as much destructive power immediately as you can possibly get, because whoever that you're shooting with a particular whatever kind of gun it is, he may be stabbing you, choking you, or stabbing a loved one or someone you're trying to defend, all the while you're shooting him. One of the inventor of the Glazer safety slug had a story told about him some time ago, that the reason he invented the Glazer safety slug was that he was in an altercation with in some sort of military arrangement with an enemy type person, and the enemy was stabbing him while he was shooting him with his 45, and he couldn't make the enemy quit. Darn near killed him too. Now, he finally did enough shots, but he was cut up awfully bad, so he wanted to go back and make a shell that would instantaneously incapacitate. Now, as I've said before on the program, the last thing we're going to do is we don't even think about killing someone. And I wish the anti-gun knuckleheads could get this in their mind. We don't think about killing someone. What we have to do, though, is think about immediate incapacitation. That means stopping them from whatever they're doing. If they're trying to shoot you or cut you, if you're a police officer and you're trying to uphold and defend the law, you need to defend yourself, your own life, maybe your partner's life. You need to put as quickly, thank you, you get under my feet, I will step on your toe. Okay, thank you very much. Anyway, where were we? You need to stop whatever is happening as rapidly as possible, which on a game animal, that is not necessarily the case, unless that animal may eat you too, and then that's when you need to shoot a game animal with the biggest gun you can comfortably carry and shoot with the most destructive bullet. But many times that penetration is the difference in getting a game animal and letting them get away. Game animals, like a deer, for instance, are very tough animal. Their muscles, I mean, heck, they're wild. They run around outside all the time. They get plenty of exercise. They're in great shape. And literally, you have to penetrate through whatever natural body armor, be it muscle or gristle plate like on a hog or whatever else, to get to a vital spot to make the animal quit. And we certainly, all of us as hunters, should strive for the most humane, most immediate kill on a game animal as is possible. Well, let's do a little demonstration here. We have some wood blocks out here, and let's do a penetration test with a standard 357 Magnum from Corbine. In fact, 125 grain jacketed hollow point, maybe the ultimate bullet right now, certainly among the very best cartridge and gun combinations that we can possibly use for self-defense. And let's try the penetrator bullet and see the difference on our wood pieces out here. All right, friends, let's shoot into our wood blocks here, our pieces of wood, with our standard 357 125 grain jacketed hollow point first. Let's do that. Now, bullet, you're gonna have to move, son. Come here. Get over here. Come on. Bullet. Now, I'm not kidding now. Come on. All right, you get back here. Thank you. Thank you. Go on now. Go on. You're not gonna like it. Quit. Go on. Go on. Now, see, friends, this is a small lesson right here. If you have a pet or something around where you're shooting and they come up near the line of fire, just don't shoot the gun. Move the pet back like I'm about to this puppy. Go on now. Yeah, you know you're in trouble. Go on. There's just no need in taking any sort of chance. Okay. And be sure that they're safely back out of the way So they might not have any sort of ricochet or anything like that. Be sure they're back out of the way and safe. There's just no sense in taking chances. If I hurt that dog, I'm in big trouble with my wife. And I don't want to hurt him either. I think a lot of it. Okay, our regular 357, 125 grain jacket hollow point. Yes, indeed. Let's take a look here. We have, well, we split two of them, obviously. Here's two. And went through three here. And there is, oh, still hot, your fully expanded jacketed hollow point. So it actually went through three boards with that high-powered. In fact, this is a fast barrel on this Smith & Wesson right here, and actually the carbine loads will run past 1,500 feet per second out of this particular gun. So actually excellent performance. Two went through three, stopped, and fell out on the ground there. So now then, let's try the penetrator. The 200 grain carbine penetrator. All right, let's see what happened. Now then, friends, let's see. We got our board here, board there, board here. So we went through 1, 2, 3. All right, went through 4 and dented 5. And bear in mind, this old wood here is hard. So our bullet here, put our gun down, is still not essentially deformed. And here's our bullet. Go ahead and pull it out. And honestly, after going through 4 boards and denting 5, shocking fact, it broke 5. It cracked 5 right down the middle here. Okay, it's still, in fact, you could just about, if it wasn't for the rifling marks there on the bullet, you could shoot it again. So you can see the dramatic difference here in the jacketed hollow point versus this essentially solid. It's fully encased in brass there, absolutely, or in a jacket anyway. That's the difference in the penetrator. And on a game animal, this would mean much more dramatic penetration, because when these jacketed hollow points, these lightweight high velocity jacketed hollow points hit a fluid-filled substance like a game animal, it's going to expand much more quickly probably than even on these boards here. And your penetration with this solid would be much greater. Now, friends, we're sitting here. Catherine's holding several of the New American magazines. I'm holding one also. This is the new cover, and of course, for the first time, the New American is available on newsstands in selected parts of the country. Friends, let me tell you what, this is absolutely the finest news magazine available in this country today. If you want news from around the country and around the world, and more importantly, news from behind the scenes of what's happening, on why the news is happening, you need to subscribe to the New American magazine. It's $22 for a 6-month subscription. It comes every other week, twice a month, and it is just terrific. If you want to know what is going on, and in these dangerous times we live in, our guns are very important.
You might want to add in there as an unbiased opinion.
That's really true. Our guns are certainly important, but what is of supreme importance is the information to know how to react and why things are happening. I mean, so many strange things are happening all around us in this society. The New American can help you understand why some of these things are going on. So give them a call, 1-800-727-TRUE, 1-800-727-8783 for the New American. One more time, 1-800-727-8783 for your subscription to the New American magazine, and please tell them that you saw it on the Shooting Show. Now, friends, here's some neat stuff we want to show you. This is a cardboard cutout of a deer from the Boresight Target Company, and they're at Post Office Box 397, New Washington, Ohio. That zip code is 44854. And this is a really neat idea. This could help a lot of us practice for our hunting season. You'll see that it has a target there in an approximate lung area of the deer, but let's see what else they've got here. Here is a black bear cutout, And you'll see again there they have a target pasted in an approximately desirable hit zone there on the bear. And here we have a wild turkey, and you can see the neck there cut out there in the turkey target. And let's see what else we have. We have one that fell over. That was a squirrel, I believe. Here's a rabbit and a groundhog, and you can get an idea. Of course, these things are fixed where they can stand by themselves on some of the targets there. This is really a good idea, and you can see they're pretty large. They're substantial. The turkey and the other little animals are life-size there, and I would think that the bear and the deer are, well, heck, actually they're pretty near it for some of them, and that's a good idea from the Bore Sight Target Center. Let's take a look and see where they're from. Now, friends, if you'd be interested in some of these targets, you can give the folks there, or drop them a line. The Bore Sight Targets, P.O. Box 397, New Washington, Ohio. That zip code 44854. And this is really a neat concept.
Gun Sight Training Center.
Front sight. Get it off. Ready? Grip!
People have a tremendous change in attitude here.
Go down to your target, stand about 1 meter back of your target, and do not taste it. Do not taste it. Relay 2, 7-meter line.
Then you go on down to a standard prone.
The methods taught here at Gun Sight have set training standards throughout the world. Defensive weaponry techniques afford the greatest speed, power, and accuracy. Students attending Gun Sight are afforded the luxury of having an on-site custom shop for immediate service or repairs. It is a full-service gunsmith operation, performing the highest quality of custom modifications on all types of firearms, handguns, or long guns. And the Gun Sight Pro Shop, a retail service dedicated to providing the best shooting products and items available in the world today.
Now, friends, for information on the Gun Sight Training Center, on their custom shop, or on their pro shop, give them a call, area 520-636-4565. Area 520-636-4565. Get a catalog, get information on their custom shop, or on the tremendous stock in their pro shop. They're some of the finest people out there, friends. If you go to Gun Sight Training Center, you will definitely come back knowing, one, how to shoot a gun and how to better protect yourself in this dangerous world we live in. Now, friends, this is my lovely and talented wife, Claudia, and she's holding up some of the things from the Gun Sight Pro Shop. This is a hooded sweatshirt that she's holding now. And now we have a couple of regular t-shirts. Now we have a pullover and a denim shirt. And here we have a vest with a hood in the collar. A gun sight cap and water bottle for those extended trips. And of course a very fine and wide selection of leathers, such as this Galco setup with the Gun Sight logo for the 1911. Friends, for a complete list of the products in the Gun Sight Pro Shop and the custom shop too, for that matter, give them a call at area 520-636-4565. Again, area 520-636-4565.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
My name is Jim Willey. I'm here today to introduce you to the Little Freedom Association. Our goal is to unite the citizens of this country together to promote and protect our Constitution and our constitutional rights, especially the Second Amendment, because it's what protects the rest of them. If we took all the patriotic, moral, law-abiding citizens and joined them together, we would have the single largest group in the nation. I can't see how anyone out there could not be concerned about our Constitution. For sign-up or more information, we may be contacted at P.O. Box 1436, Craig, Colorado, 81626. Phone number is area code 970-824-8771. I'd like to thank Johnny and the judge for the time on this show today, and I'd also like to thank everyone out there.
Hi, I'm Kelly.
Hey, and I'm Jim, and between the two of us, we've got over 40 years of hunting experience.
We're both federally certified firearms instructors.
Hey, this video is going to introduce you to the sport of black powder hunting. Dealing with black powder rifles or any other firearm, safety should be remembered first and foremost. You should always remember, 1, point that weapon in the safest possible direction. And number 2, always treat that firearm and all firearms as though they were loaded. Remember the laser theory. Pretend that there's a laser beam coming from the muzzle of that rifle. Anywhere that muzzle is being pointed, that laser is cutting through objects. Now let's talk about a misfire for a moment. A misfire can occur with a black powder rifle as well as any other firearm. Follow the guidelines in the manual that came with your particular black powder rifle, and always wait that 15 seconds. Now let's talk about reloading the black powder rifle after a shot has been fired. Again, we like to caution that 15-second waiting period. Hey, what happens if you've got a hot ash in the bottom of that barrel? You pour that fresh powder down there, you start to run that bullet down on top of it, and next thing you know, you've got an explosion right there in your hands. Remember, wait that 15 seconds on both the misfire and the reload after making the shot.
Now let's talk about purchasing your black powder firearm. Depending on the type of shooting you're going to do, you may want a rifle, a shotgun, or a pistol, or you may want all three. Let's take a look at this rifle from Cabela's. This is a 54 caliber Hawken, a fine piece of work as you can see. This rifle shoots well and it has a very affordable price. Now let's take a look at the shotgun. This is also a Cabela's model. It's a 10 gauge in percussion. I've taken pheasants, I've taken geese, ducks, chukar, quail, doves. Hey, you can take them all with this baby. Now let's take a look at a revolver. Don't be fooled. This little baby backs some power. This is a Cabela's model 44 in a Remington replica. If you notice, it has the top strap over the cylinder, and it also has adjustable target sights. This makes it extremely accurate. You might want to pick one of these up just for plinking around. They're really fun. Let's take a look at an old black powder cartridge rifle. This is a Remington model 1873 rolling block. This had a cartridge with black powder in it and a projectile, just as the modern version is today, only it was black powder, not smokeless powder. By the way, this rifle still functions. Depending on your style of shooting, you may want these older versions. Of course, these are replicas, except for the Remington, which is an original. Or you may want a more modern version of a black powder rifle. Let's take a look at a couple of these. First, we're going to look at the white. This is the white systems. This is a 50 caliber. It has a bolt and not a hammer, like you saw on this Hawken rifle. This is an exceptionally fine rifle, and it shoots very well. Now we're going to take a look at my personal favorite. This is the new Remington Model 700 muzzleloader. Yes, I did say Remington. They're brand new on the market, and this rifle shoots extremely accurate. A little later in the video, we'll show you how accurate. Depending on what you can afford, you may want the best on the market, or you may want something that you can just get by with. This may be a factory rifle, or you may want a kit version of a factory rifle. The kit version is less expensive because of course you have to build it at home, but this can be done with just basic household tools. It's very fun and it's very rewarding. Just think, when you put that rifle together, you go out there and you take that animal, you did it with something you built with your own two hands. That's rewarding. Now let's talk a little bit about black powder. Black powder has been around for hundreds of years. It's a very simple formula made up of saltpeter, sulfur, and charcoal. Remember, never attempt to make black powder at home. It's extremely dangerous. Let's leave this up to the manufacturers. Black powder comes in granulations from 1F to 4F. 1F being the largest granulation and 4F being the smallest granulation. Between the two is double F and triple F. Here we have the double F black powder. You can see the granulation here. And then to its left is the triple F granulation black powder, it being smaller than the double F. For many years, powder manufacturers have been trying to come up with a black powder that's not as harsh as original black powder. Hodgdon has come up with Pyrodex. Pyrodex is an extremely good powder for your black powder firearm. This powder comes in CTG, which is the cartridge form, and the RS, which is the double F granulation equivalent of black powder, and the P, which is the triple F granulation equivalent of black powder. Remember, never mix your black powders. Never put triple F and double F together. And remember also, never use 4F black powder in any firearm. This black powder was designed for the flash pan of a flintlock rifle or pistol. Never mix smokeless powder with black powder, and never use smokeless powder in your black powder firearm. Smokeless powder builds extreme pressure. Remember, folks, refer to your owner's manual as to what powder or what weight powder your rifle will use. By weight, we mean by volume. This is how black powder is measured. Not by weight, but by volume. Your cartridge cases are measured by weight. We measure ours in a powder measure, which may range from 70 grains up to 120 grains, depending on what your manufacturer says is good for your rifle.
Friends, if you'd like to take advantage of all this information from these black powder experts, give Desert Star Productions a call, 1-800-979-0161. Again, 1-800-979-0161, extension 148. Now, that's important. They'll accept check or money order, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover Card only, $19.95 plus $3 shipping and handling, 4 to 6 weeks delivery. Friends, this is a great tape if you want to learn about black powder, and these are experts showing you. So we highly recommend this. Give them a call today, the Desert Star Productions black powder tape. Now, friends, what do Jim Clark Sr., K. Clark Michalik, Jerry Michalik, and Jim Clark Jr. have in common? You can find them all at Clark Custom Guns in Princeton, Louisiana, one of the finest custom gun shops in the entire country. They offer all sorts of custom packages on 1911s and other semi-automatics, from race guns to custom carry guns. They also offer a number of different custom packages for the Ruger 1022, and also have some very economically priced new 1022s in stock. Clark Custom Guns offers some of the best revolver packages available anywhere, including action jobs on your Smith & Wesson or some other fine revolvers. In addition to custom work, they also have a completely stocked gun shop, anything from bullets to powder to accessories that you might want. Clark Custom Guns offer some shooting classes. You need to call for availability. Friends, it's certainly good for the shooting show, but good for yourselves when you call and get a Clark Custom Guns catalog. They have all sorts of things listed about their products and services and excellent prices. Give them a call. Area 318-949-9884. Again, 318-949-9884. Clark Custom Guns, the complete custom gun shop. Give them a call today. Tell them you saw it on the shooting show. You know, friends, here on this program, these guns are a very integral part of our lives. But if you think about it, what else is so important in our daily lives? Well, heck, the telephone. Now think about that. Think where we'd all be if we didn't have a telephone. Well, we'd be down on the corner somewhere with a bunch of quarters, right? But the telephone is so important, and we have some friends of ours with a company. This is exciting. We have a discount phone service that, in fact, we're with this company. Our program has switched over to this company. My home phone has switched over to this company. This is really a great situation. And what we're looking for is two kinds of people. Those people that want to save on their long-distance phone bill, want to save money. And then the other kind of people is those that want to save money and want to make some money along with it. And this is a good situation. There's a little commission here that can be paid. It is really one of the neatest things I've heard of, and this is going to help us stay on the air. It's going to help our program, and plus it's going to save you a lot of money on your phone bill. Anywhere from what people are seeing, 30 to 60% over some of the carriers out there. This is a great situation. It is with a major carrier. This is not some off-the-wall whodunit phone company. This is for real here. And for information on this, you can call 1-800-648-8411. This is our friends, the Garys. These are people that I personally know and have dealt with. They're very fine people, and they've got the staff to take care of this. It won't put it off on our shooting show staff, which is overloaded already. But this is a great thing. 1-800-648-8411 for the best deal and discount phone service I've ever heard of. So please give them a call today. Remember, it'll certainly help you, and it'll help our program. So please do it.
The Shooting Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Friends, I want to remind you about the first annual Houston Ladies Charity Classic handgun event that's going to be in Houston on November 16 of this year. It benefits the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and Smith & Wesson's providing firearms. Federal's providing ammunition. With a $65 entry fee, you get lunch, ammunition, free drawings, free instruction. Certainly, this is a great thing. For you ladies, give them a call, area 713-584-9907. Again, 713-584-9907. Well, friends, here we are. We hope you're enjoying our program. My esteemed colleague Leroy Scott and myself, we have this particular point on the program where we give out some of the most important facts that we will state for the entire show. Sir, how you doing?
Well, pretty good, Johnny. I feel better today.
Well, you had a little bug there a couple of days. And
yeah, I ate something that disagreed with me. I went over to Centenary College book bazaar that they have once a year, and they sell their books. Boy, it cures you of willing your books to the college. Here's one by Phyllis Schlafly and Admiral Chester Ward called The Betrayers, and they sold it for 20 cents.
Well, you've got another one over there, The Masters of Deceit by J. Edgar Hoover, which was an expensive book. How much you have to pay for that?
That's a hardback, and I had to pay 25 cents for it.
Well, talk about your bargain now.
J. Edgar Hoover. Both of them talking about communism.
Well, J. Edgar Hoover has come under a lot of criticism in recent years. Of course, can't imagine why from the anti-freedom media and some other folks, and no doubt, I mean, the man may have been a little different, but what he had to say about in this particular book, Masters of Deceit, really is right on target today, isn't it?
I don't think there's any question about it. It's right smack dab on target. And the revelations from the files of the KGB prove it. Prove it very, very, very much. She calls, Phyllis Schlafly calls the group that wanted to unilaterally disarm America, including the ex-head of the Ford Motor Company of Edsel fame,
Robert McNamara.
Of being, what do you call them? She didn't call them the betrayers. She called them the, forgotten what it was now. It was not complimentary. She sets forth a good argument for the proposition that, as she put it, what's the worst hand you can get in poker?
Well, since I'm not a poker player, I don't know.
You don't know anything about poker?
No.
The worst hand you can get in poker is the second best hand on the board.
So that's the one that'll beat you.
That's the one that you're going to bet on, and somebody else is going to beat you. She said that the McNamara and his cohorts were convinced that we had to be second. We had to let the Russians see that we're second, so we wouldn't have a surprise nuclear attack. And in fact, anticipated that there'd eventually be a Russian takeover. I find that thought just absolutely abhorrent. And of course, the Soviet Union collapsed. We didn't yet. And I just don't understand this attitude that we've got to be second best instead of being first best.
Well, Judge, tell me something. Wasn't it George Washington that warned us against political parties?
Not against political parties, but against foreign entanglements.
Well, who warned us against political parties, against the dangers of the political party? Someone did, I remember, back in history.
I don't know, Johnny. That's beyond me. But I don't see how you could conduct national elections without political parties. The trouble is that each party strives to be so near the center of the mainstream that in what they say that it doesn't look any different. You've got to look and see what they do in order to determine just exactly what they are.
Good point.
If you look at the first 4 years of the Clinton administration, you'll find that he vetoed the balanced budget amendment. He vetoed cuts in spending. Even though this did not reduce Medicare or Medicaid, it simply slowed the rate of increase in them to allow the economy to catch up with it, because they were increasing faster than the rate of inflation.
You know, I heard Rush Limbaugh say earlier this week, he was reading something from one of the Northeastern papers, which is not known to be a conservative paper, but you know, he mentioned 40 scandals and really goof-ups that Clinton has done, and they just quit there. I mean, they went through 40 and just stopped. 40 scandals from Vince Foster's supposed suicide to vetoing the first two welfare bills or welfare reform acts to all these things we're talking about. 40. Didn't even mention the idiocy or the lunacy around the Brady bill. And they just quit. I mean, they ran out. He just got tired and quit on whoever wrote that article on 40. And they're having so many scandals and so many things. I guess people just don't take it seriously anymore.
He's really a Teflon president. Everything slips off. Everything slips off. I was talking to a justice of the Supreme Court here the other day, Louisiana Supreme Court. I'm not acquainted with any of the justices of the federal Supreme Court. And his expression to me was he didn't understand. He didn't believe that Clinton could possibly be reelected because he didn't believe that people would put up with what has actually been shown when it actually got down to time to vote in the voting booth. And maybe that's good, because I'm convinced that if Clinton thought he was going to lose, he'd get us involved in a war, which he may be doing now. We had more B-52s leave yesterday for the Persian Gulf, and 5,000 additional troops over there.
Well, I heard a Democratic commentator say earlier this week, thank God for Saddam Hussein, for their side. Now, he said that, repeated it even, because they think this is going to be such a help to their campaign. It is outrageous what is going on. You know, Judge, what really bothers me, people are inundated with so much garbage on television, and I think if the major networks would just keep what they're doing, they drive people away from their programming. They don't believe the commentators anymore. You think that's it? People are so just overwhelmed with the amounts of trash and things that they don't even take what comes across the media seriously anymore.
I don't know, Johnny. I'm very much concerned that there are many people, maybe even a majority of the people, who would rather do anything than think.
Well, it's a proven fact that when some of the programming comes on and scientists hook up electrodes to the human brain, that the brain slows down and starts taking this intake of garbage that is so much of network programming. You know, just like the thing with Clinton's drug deal, drug abuse among young people has more than doubled since Clinton took office, and the Clintonians just are not believable. What 40 people in the White House, what was said the other day, that had some history of drug usage in the past, something like that. And of course, what's going around Washington, we've heard this from other sources, that the reason that Clinton does not want to release his medical records because he's had a nasal reconstruction from use of cocaine. I mean, that's a fairly common rumor, that there may be something to. I mean, things like this.
Well, how does this affect us as far as gun owners are concerned?
Well, you've got a nut in charge that will do anything, and certainly is married to this liberal, wait a minute, I'm going to have to rethink. He's married to Hillary, who is about as liberal as, or against the personal freedom of us as possible. I mean, you've got a nut here, and even if, as I said earlier on the show today, even if Hillary is indicted and she takes Slick down with her, if she gets heard this guy say that, his slickness down with her, well, then you've got ozone hole. My gosh, I mean, people that are diametrically opposed to personal freedom.
Of course, that brings us back to Sarah Brady's famous statement that we will never be able to achieve our dream of a socialist America until we totally disarm all those who would never consent. And Sarah Brady was telling the truth there. Now, she has since said, well, we don't want to take away all guns. We just want to take them out of the hands of people that are dangerous. The trouble is that these one world people think all of us are dangerous.
That's right.
And I'm appalled at the whole thing. And in all seriousness, this means you in the television audience. It means you. Don't sit on your hands in this election. Don't do like you did when George Bush was defeated, for which I don't much blame you, but look what we got. We elected a Republican Congress. We elected a Republican House. Now remember, they say, well, the Republican contract with America wasn't carried out. It was too, because all they promised was that we would bring to the floor for a vote all these various things, which they have done, 100% of them. The fact that they couldn't get through the Senate or were vetoed once they got to the president is irrelevant. They can't promise to pass something. They only promise to make sure it comes to a vote on the floor of the House of Representatives, which they absolutely did. But again, back to you. Get your neighbors mobilized. Don't go duck hunting. Don't go deer hunting. Don't go elk hunting on the day of the election. Get with it, and let's have some support. Incidentally, I read Political Facts yesterday. Incidentally, you would enjoy this, Johnny, from political observers in Louisiana. You know, we've got 2 Democrats that are running for the state Senate. I mean, for the United States Senate, and we got 5 Republicans. All 5 of the Republicans are more or less satisfactory on the issues. The 6th one is David Duke, and the 5 Republicans are all bunched together in the polls, and the national Republicans have suddenly gotten afraid that David Duke may be the one to break out of the pack, and that he would be in a runoff with one of the Democrats, and they say that would be a nuclear disaster for the National Republican Party. And so I understand that today, this is Saturday, the Representative Livingston, who's head of the House Budget Committee, is endorsing Woody Jenkins, and the other 5 Republican congressmen in Louisiana are set to go along and do the same thing.
That's great.
Well, that's only 4, because one of them is Jimmy Hayes, and he's not in office, and he's running for the job. But also, it says that fax says that Woody Jenkins has, in the last week of the campaign, that'll be next week, has purchased $2.5 million worth of television advertising just for New Orleans. Because New Orleans has a lot of registered Republicans, and it's where he is probably weakest. He's weakest, of course, because New Orleans is a black majority city, and the blacks are going to vote for either Ayub or for Landrieu. Mostly we think they're going to vote for Landrieu. She's a liberal, but she's at the head of the pack right now, and the Republican National Committee is concentrating on Ayub to bring him down so one of the Republicans can break out and be in a runoff with her. They're anticipating, incidentally, a low turnout. It's interesting to watch. If it wasn't so serious, it would be fun to watch.
But it is serious. Well, friends, stay tuned. We have literally so much at stake. And please, like we said earlier, give Bob Dole your vote if you are concerned here, because any other vote in the presidential election away from Bob Dole is going to be a vote from Clinton, or for Clinton. So none of us really are enthusiastic about Dole, but he's the only choice we actually have.
I just think it can't be any worse. Dole couldn't possibly be as bad as Clinton. So Dole would be an improvement.
This is a situation of damage control, and Clinton is a whole lot worse hole in the side of the boat than we think Dole will be.
Goodbye, good luck, and let's have it for Dole and for Republicans in the House and the Senate.
You know, friends, these firearms are very, very important for our security. In fact, these firearms in civilian hands are probably the things that have kept this nation free and will continue if we can hold on to them. But there's something else you can do to ensure your freedom in the future, and that is to call Barcelini and Wilkins. Now, they're a gold company. They sell gold coins, and this is a hedge against paper money, because what in the world is standing behind paper money? But gold is in fact real money, and these folks specialize in premium gold coins. They're real nice people, and here's the deal. You don't have to pay anything to get their package. Call them, and their number is 1-800-497-6531. 1-800-497-6531. It's a free package. Call Barcelini and Wilkins, and by the way, they're helping sponsor our Thinking Right radio program, and we really, heck, just give them a call, get the package, and take a look at it, see what you think. They're really nice people, and this could really help in our future survival of our assets. This is a great thing they have to offer, and so please give them a call. 1-800-497-6531. Ask for their free information package from Barcelini and Wilkins.